آیا کرے ایسی ردا کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں، دین پہ جو سایہ کرے ایسی ردا کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں۔
ماشاءاللہ۔
اور داغ ماتم کے جو دیکھا تو ملک بول اٹھے، داغ ماتم کے جو دیکھا تو ملک بول اٹھے، اس کے سینے پہ لکھا ہے کہ خطا کوئی نہیں،
جزاک اللہ
کوئی
سبحان
نہیں
اللہ۔
کوئی نہیں
یہ حسن
کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں۔ اور ایسے اصحاب تھے اصحاب حسین بن علی، ایسے اصحاب تھے اصحاب حسین بن علی، ایسے اصحاب تھے اصحاب حسین ابن علی، شاہ کہتے تھے چلے جاؤ گیا کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں۔
ماشاءاللہ۔
اور کربلا ظلم کے خنجر کو بڑی غیرت ہے، کربلا ظلم کے خنجر کو بڑی حیرت ہے، کٹ گئے سب کے گلے اور کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں، کٹ گئے سب کے گلے اور مرا کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں، ظلم کے ناگ سمجھتے تھے میرا کوئی نہیں، کوئی نہیں کوئی نہیں۔ اللہم صلی اللہ۔
اللہم صلی اللہ، جزاک اللہ سبحان اللہ۔
میری جان کوئی مسئلہ نہیں ہے آپ
Hassan, thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Moulana Suleiman Hassan to give us enlighten us with a short speech. Moulana.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Before I begin, I want to just check if everybody can hear me.
Able to hear you. At least I am.
Inshallah.
Yes, we can.
بسم الله الرحمن.
Thank you Khula.
جي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم إلى قيام يوم الدين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Just in a few minutes, I want to remind myself and all of us that whenever there is a tragedy or whenever there is a situation that occurs in any part of the Muslim world in particular, and in general, any part of the world that affects the safety or the well-being of our fellow human beings, and in particular, our fellow believers, then it is all of our obligation to direct our attention, energies, and actions to play a constructive role in help. And in many cases, people think of help as being material assistance, but reality is that it is, first of all, intentions and dua that are important. There are many times when people are suffering in our own society or in other parts of the world, and we remember it the day it happens. But then next week, next month, so many things occur in our life, we get busy, and the news media move on to another topic, and we forget. So first is for our intentions to be aware of and to remember the needs and the suffering of other people. And that moves to dua. We should not forget those who are suffering and those who are in need in our du'as. The third stage is our material assistance. If we forget dua, then we are forgetting that our material assistance is only a means to a spiritual end. But if we do dua and we stop, then it is not a true dua, because I can only pray to Allah with sincerity if I myself care about the issue. Otherwise, if I say to Allah that, oh Allah, you help those who are suffering, but then Allah tells me, I have given you the ability, I have given you certain resources, certain funds, and you are not using them. Do you really care about those people? Do you really sincerely pray, or is it just a dua to make yourself feel better? And this is very beautifully described in Surah Al-Ma'arij in the Quran. Allah describes al-musallin, those people who pray. Musallin refers, of course, to our salat, but also to our dua that we recite in our salat and after our salat. The literal meaning of musalli is one who prays. So it incorporates both our 5 daily prayers and also the dua and the supplications that we ask Allah within our prayer and after our prayer. What is the attribute of those musallin? وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. The people who pray are those who have a certain share of their wealth, which they say, I earned it, I own it, but it's not mine. This is devoted to those who ask me for assistance or those who are deprived, those who are in need, even if they may not come to me and ask, but I know they are in need. So my money, I have apportioned it to those who are worthy and those who are needy. According to the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam, this is not talking about your zakat or about your khums or about your religious obligations. This is talking about a voluntary choice you make to help those who are in need. And it is a wonderful blessing of Allah that we have brothers and sisters in our community that saw a need when devastating floods came to Pakistan, and the government and the international community was not able to meet the needs of the affected families, many of whom were living in poverty even before, many of whom are followers of Ahlul Bayt and are our sisters and brothers in faith. Elderly believers, young children, men and women who have suffered homelessness, loss of livelihood, loss of all of their worldly possessions. This was in the news months ago, but then it has fallen away from the front pages. Those of our believers who have remembered and continued to follow up and see how they can support, they have done all of us a service. They have done me and you a service, because now we can sign up, we can provide our dua and our material assistance in a more easy manner and in a more effective manner, where we know that our contribution is going to needy families and that it will be utilized to alleviate their suffering and give them a firm foundation, inshallah, for reestablishing their livelihood and supporting themselves, their communities, and their loved ones. So we owe our gratitude to those dedicated volunteers at Al-Kauser who have followed up, have searched out the most effective ways to contribute, and opened a door for all of us. And now it is our obligation to show our gratitude by offering our support with our du'as, with our material contributions. We want our prayers to be accepted. And Allah has told us what is the attribute of those people who are truly worshippers and musallin. وَالَّذِينَ فِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ مَعْلُومٌ. They have a set stage, a set portion of their budget, which is devoted to the sa'il wal mahrum, those who ask and those who are in need. And who is in more need than those families that have lost their homes, their livelihood, and everything that they owned due to the devastating floods that have taken place in Pakistan. So I hope that all of us will be able to stand up and do whatever we can to support, inshallah. May Allah bless the volunteers and those who initiated this effort, and all of those who have contributed and all of those who are or will contribute to this worthy cause. Jazakumullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for your enlightening speech and words of wisdom. And with that, I would like to invite Akif Abbas for the presentation on the Pakistan flood relief. All right, I will try to speak louder. Thank you, Qibla, so much for the enlightening speech and the words of wisdom. With this, I would like to invite Sayyid Akif Abbas to give a presentation on the updates so far on the flood relief work that Kauser has been involved with. Akif, over to you.
All right, thank you, Manzoor bhai. So I just want to give a brief update of Pakistan flood relief and just a brief introduction of Kauser. So just want to highlight some important facts. Kauser auditor is Ram Associates, and Kauser attorney is Shank, Prince, Price, Smith, and King LLC. The mission of Kauser is to uplift the standard of living by developing academic institutes and providing social support structure to the needy. The purpose of this session is this Zoom call is actually to resettle almost 400 to 500 families through reconstruction or repair of houses, and to introduce Kauser to the wider community in United States. And I just want to quickly go over what is Kauser. So Kauser is actually the conventional model of charitable organization is that there's a community at large, and then the community, and then there's like community in need, and people donate for specific causes, and then they distribute directly to the people in need. However, the Kauser's model is a little different. It's like an organization of an organization where Kauser has partnered with the existing grassroots organizations so that they will, Kauser will strengthen those organizations rather than building their own shop. This way, we, in our experience, because we're in here for a long time, we feel like it's more productive and it helps community in large and effective ways, because we get input from our collaborative organizations. They are in the grassroots, and it's better for us, like in US, that we cannot always monitor those people in need. So it's always better to just help grassroots organizations because they are there for a long time. And this is Kauser's, I just want to, on the finance side, Kauser donations yearly comparison. Kauser started in 2008 around time. In the recent past 5-6 years, we grow a lot from less than $100,000 in donations. Now we are, alhamdulillah, by November, these are November numbers, and we are almost close to 900,000 and hoping to reach $1 million this year. This is Kauser donation and disbursement yearly comparison. We grow, as you see, donation and disbursement. As much as donations we got, we usually distribute this to the organization. We usually do not hold that much money. And you see this is for the last 2021, we dispersed more because we have some balance here. So this is usually a trend. In this year, since we are actually in November, so we still have some time for disbursement, but this gap is usually around for the money for the phase 2 reconstruction of the houses, where if you heard our first call, where most of our collaborative organizations were asking us to hold off for some money so that we can utilize those money for the reconstruction of the houses. So we actually sanctioned that money for the houses, but this is just that we will use for the reconstruction of houses, and hopefully soon, because we actually have some deliberations on the construction and how we are going to construct. We identified those areas and all the other things. So Al-Kauser, as you know, Al-Kauser's main focus is providing education. And this is just a brief introduction, just a brief numbers wise, like how many institutes we support, and mostly we give donations for the higher education. Currently, we are supporting 1,000 students for their higher education needs to some of these institutes like NED University, University of Karachi, Institute of Business Administration, IBA Karachi, and some other institutes that we support. We also support students on their secondary education and some families that we support. And there are like some orphanages that we support, which is Al-Kauser Sweet Home Parchana, which is probably famous, and the Safina Sweet Home in Islamabad. This is just also want to highlight, want to give some numbers on like total funds received from January to November this year. We received, alhamdulillah, $877,000 close to. And for the flood, we received $236,000. Total funds that we dispersed is around $685,000. That include the flood relief, and that's mostly the phase 1 money that we provided. Also, we just wanted to highlight that we almost have very little expenses. Those are usually the bank fees or other charges. All of the Al-Kauser directors or whoever work for Al-Kauser is usually all are volunteers, so we don't have any employees that we support. So just whatever you donate, it usually goes directly to the people on ground. Funds used in Pakistan to help community. So we have phase 1 and phase 2. Our first thing was rehabilitation. We disbursed actually $51,000 for the initial rehabilitation plan where we used some of these organizations, Ifta, Mawa, and Al-Kauser, for like mostly food distribution in Sindh and Balochistan, Punjab, blankets in Balochistan, and food distribution in Parachanar. For the phase 2 reconstruction, which is now currently we are in, and we want people to help us in that, we have some fund. That's what we sanctioned, and that's what we provided. Some of these funds, like $31,000, was already disbursed in right now, and we are reconstructing some houses. We have some cash that we already sanctioned, and we start working on that, but the demand that we are getting is tremendous. So this is some of the number of houses destroyed and damaged by area. You can see houses destroyed completely, houses with major damage, houses with minor damage. So total numbers is like around 1,000 houses that we got demand. That's not the total houses that's damaged or destroyed. This is just what we got number from collaborative organization. It's around 1,000, and this is by Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan, and KPK regions. Most of the damage, if you see the demand that is coming from Punjab and then Sindh and then Balochistan, 437. So this is some of the working that we were doing work with our collaborative organizations and getting the numbers, like how much the estimated cost wise it looks like. So this is number of houses destroyed in each of the areas, South Punjab, because they're like different organizations that are supporting us in those regions. So we have different numbers, and and these are some of the estimated per cost US dollar per houses numbers for each region. They are different based on the different areas. So this is what we discuss internally, how much we could support those organizations. So internally, the first goal for us is to at least build 280 houses because they're in high need. And these are some of the breakdown of what we are planning to build houses. In Balochistan, we're planning to build houses for 150 houses, in Sindh 50, South Punjab 50, KPK 30, and these are the these are the costs to build houses in these regions. So this is what we are targeting, and this is what we are hoping that our donors will come forward and support us in building those houses. We actually discuss with our different regions, and like we talk with people in different states, and this is just the target that we put in for our teams in US, so that they have some target, because people were asking us some target numbers that they will work on getting the money. So this is for Maryland, Virginia, DC region. We are hoping that we will get money for 100 houses to build, which is like 159,000. Illinois and these Georgia, Kansas, Minnesota, and we were hoping to get $119,000 to build 75 houses. New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, we have big presence there, so we are hoping to at least get 100 houses. People will contribute to build 100 houses for 159,000. California 50, and same Texas that we are hoping to get at least people pledge 50 houses from these regions. These are some of the costs. We just want to make sure, we just want to show our donors that how our internal workings going on with different organizations. So I just put some slides on like cost sheets that we work with different organizations, Boundary Wall, and all the other details. This is the MAVA, that the MAVA distribute funds and on ground. So this is just some of the disbursement. This is IFTA provided us cost sheets, and these are Kauser, they provided us cost sheet. So these are just some of the examples. So we work as we presented that Kauser work with different organizations within US and outside of US. They're like organizations in ground that we support. These are some of the organizations in ground in Pakistan, India, and within Pakistan, we support in Karachi, different organizations, Lahore, Islamabad. So these are just a list of some organizations that we support. We work with actually to provide support in the community. And these are some of the US collaborations and partner organizations that are within US. They support us. We usually work with them. So they're like Astana Izara, New Jersey, Masjid Ali, New Jersey, Zanabiya, New Jersey. In Virginia, we work with Muhammadiyah Center, Nova Shia Community, and Idara Jafri in Maryland, Bethel Ilm, Chicago, Illinois, Anjuman Allahabad in St. Louis, IEC Houston, IEC Chicago, Illinois. There are like some other, but these are like the most that we work with. And this is just like how you can support us. You can go to our website, alkauser.net, to donate. This is the mailing address for us. You can send us check. You can also Zelle us the donations. You can also Venmo, or you can electronically transfer money to the to our Bank of America account. Thank you. This is it from my side.
Thank you so much, Akif. Now I'd like to invite Raees bhai to give us a quick update on the flood situation and the aftermath. Raees bhai.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There is no need to speak about this because we already, Akif bhai already presented everything. I will participate. If somebody has a question, then we are here for the answers of those questions. And I think that we have to start the question and answer session because the presentation is already done. If somebody has a question about the Kauser or the groundwork or whatever, so we are available for the answers here.
So, Assalamu alaikum, Raees bhai, is Asad Abbas Zaidi from New York. So one thing I think you need to mention to all the participants that if you are a follower of Ali al-Sistani as a marja, he allowed 2/3 of your same imam donation. If you are Pakistani, then you can contribute towards the flood relief. So please highlight that thing, Raees bhai. Please, thank you.
Yes, that is right. And we already talked everything, but people know that this circulation goes everywhere, and all the people know about this fatwa also already. And also the followers of Ayatollah Khamenei, Pakistani resident overseas, they can use 50% of their Sahm Imam towards this also.
There is one question from a brother who's asking if I guess it's about the fatwa, if the fatwas are applicable if you are a Pakistani or if you're a Pakistani residing in Pakistan. I think the answer is that if you are a Pakistani, one way or the other, it applies to you, but I'll let Raees bhai or Nasir bhai correct on that.
I think that is the Pakistani living overseas, and Pakistanis living in Pakistan, definitely they can do it. But also those Pakistanis who are overseas Pakistani can use their funds 2/3 and 50% as per their maraje also.
Right.
So can you repeat that again? You said Sahm Imam, 50% we can donate.
The thing is, it depends on the maraje. The followers of the Ayatollah Sistani can use 2/3 of their Sahm. For the Pakistani, overseas Pakistani can use 2/3 of their Sahm Imam towards the flood. And the followers of Ayatollah Khamenei overseas Pakistani can use half of their Sahm Imam towards flood relief activities.
Shukriya Raees bhai. Also, for the benefit of everyone, we also have Brother Qayyum Mehdi from Pakistan, who's also online. He is closer to the ground, so if anybody has any questions about the realities on ground or the ground situation, then Brother Qayyum would be very able to answer some of the questions.
So actually, we are here to discuss because the people from the different states are here. So step forward and take the responsibility. We can discuss it now, or we can discuss it later on, as Akif discussed before, according to different states or different cities. Please step forward, coordinate with us, and we can work together.
Just to re-emphasize what Raees bhai said, like we are volunteer based, and we all work through whatever limited resources of time and money that we have. What we would really appreciate is if people who are in states where we don't have a reach come forward and become the point persons for coordinating the efforts in those states. I mean, this is open for anybody and everybody. Like one thing which drew me more than a decade ago to Kauser was that it was very open-minded. Like we didn't have any preconceived notions of who gets involved and who doesn't get involved. That's how I got in. Alhamdulillah, 12 years later, I'm still here. Nasir bhai is one of the founding members. I'm sure his experience is more or less the same. Same with Akif, who's one of the younger members of the board. With that, I would again very kindly request people to come forward and become like point people for local and regional efforts. I mean, there is a long way to go. As you saw, the number of houses is still more than 1,000. We're only talking like 400 to 500, which is still about like a decent amount of money, well more than what our total budget is for this year. So it's a long way to go. And I think with the past few months, like the pictures going out of news, the stories have sort of started to fall out of favor, and people are starting to forget. It's very important that we keep reminding people about the massive target of what needs to be done. And again, we would very much appreciate if people could come forward and take a little bit of initiative and get going on this.
Manzoor bhai, I want to add something. Actually, the people ask, what is the administrative cost? Al-Kauser do not have any employee. We don't pay salaries. And even if there is an event in different states, all the board of directors traveled and stayed in the hotels from their own pocket. The expenses are only what we have to pay. that is the bank fee, attorney charges, and the audit fees. That is less than 5%. That is usually around 3 to 4%. So there is no expenses on salaries or anything.
And for those who are familiar with Kauser, I mean, they already know that we have a newsletter that goes out which breaks down the funds collected by different heads, such as what was Sam Imam, what was Sam Sadat, what was spent on education, how much we collected for education. It's all broken down by the different categories and restrictions that are placed on funds. You're able to donate with your specific restrictions. If there is a particular cause you want to spend money on, that money will surely go to that cause only. Usually people put comments in the, if you're using PayPal or any other mode of transferring funds, usually people put in a note saying that this money is towards the education of, for example, Sadat children, or like non-Sadat children, or like general donations, or flood victims in Pakistan, or victims of terrorism in Pakistan, or wherever. And then that money is, and since we go through an independent audit, which probably is one of the largest expenses that we have, and even with that we are well below 5%, more in the range of 3 to 4, which in the past, before we started getting audits done, used to be well below 2%, which is unheard of for most like charity organizations, like anywhere in the world.
And there is also, I want to mention another thing. When we do the transaction to our local organization, I personally run the names of the board of directors, trustees, or who are the responsible of that organization through the OFAC list. OFAC list is developed, maybe everybody knows, the OFAC list is the list from the Department of Treasury, USA, that you cannot send the money to those people. So before doing the transaction, I personally run the name of all the responsible person, means board of director or trustees, the management from that list, and up from the day one to till today, we don't find any match. And we keep all the record that when we transfer the fund to that organization, nobody was in the OFAC list.
Raees bhai, a quick question. I'm not seeing the crime Mehdi bhai is there anymore. I think he dropped out.
Yeah, he's here, I think.
I was checking. I think he dropped out. But I have a question to him and you. And as you know that we work initially quite much with you and other organization on the ground. So what's the situation right now? Because initially, like a lot of aid was given and everyone was motivated, and we at that time discussed that as the time passes, the sentiments and emotion will wane down. So what's going on right now, how the situation is, and how the aid is receiving there, and what are the challenges that our community people are facing there?
Yeah, actually, when Akif bhai giving the presentation, there you can see a gap. We have the fund because we did not transfer those funds yet, because the local community was involved very good and enthusiastically, and they covered all the expenses. So they told us, stop the money, don't send us the money and save the money for the reconstruction. But the local community has some problem, and for the reconstruction, that is a big amount. Any charity organization or any community cannot meet that challenge. That's why we are in coordination with other organizations working in USA for the same cause, and in the Canada and in Pakistan. So we are working together. So there are so much need of reconstruction. So that's why that is the first meeting of this kind. So that's why we are working the different area. There's a need of 1 million houses. In the same percentage, the 20% houses belongs to our community. our local organization has surveyed all the Balochistan in Sindh, KPK, and South Punjab, and they have provided the list of the houses, but we did not present all the lists yet in the presentation, but there is a need more than what we are presenting here. So we are not saying that we try to construct 2,000 houses. That is beyond our control. We cannot do that. So we are starting with, so yes. Somebody stop me to ask something. So that's why I am saying that Asad bhai, Zulfikar bhai from the Georgia, and the different people, and the Faizan bhai and the Fahim bhai from the Maryland area, they step forward and they are all involved to organize this event. So we have to make a big team to move forward, and we can make this challenge possible.
Assalamu alaikum, Raees bhai.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
मैं फवाद अस्कर हूँ.
जी जी. Fawad bhai, he just came back from the Pakistan and he visited personally in the different areas.
नहीं मैं किसी जगह जा नहीं सका, मैं थोड़ा बीमार हो गया था, लेकिन मैंने डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से राब्ता किया था. उसमें अखुवत थी, उसमें मावा था, और इस तरह अखुवत आपने सुनी है कि एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होगी. उसका मैंने सिर्फ ये पता करना था कि घर की जो है ना कितनी मालियत बनती है. तो वो ठीक है, 80,000 से लेकर 4.5 लाख रुपए तक जो है ना वो घर बन सकता है. तो उसमें ये था कि अपना अब चूंकि सीजन बहुत ज्यादा वहाँ पे सर्दी शुरू हो चुकी है, होने वाली इतनी ज्यादा तो नहीं थी, लेकिन अब हमें इसमें जो है ना वो जितने भी हम पैसे भेज सकते हैं वो आस्ता आस्ता भेजना तो शुरू करें ताकि वहाँ पे काम शुरू हो जाए. तो सर्दियां गुजार के अगर हम काम शुरू करेंगे तो फिर तो मेरा ख्याल लोगों को ज्यादा सफरिंग होगी. तो हाँ, लोग अपनी.
फवाद भाई, मैं आपसे अर्ज करूं कि अभी इस स्टेप में है, आज हमें 2 ट्रांजैक्शन करनी है, और कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन जैसे प्रेजेंटेशन में आकिफ भाई ने बताया, कुछ ट्रांजैक्शन हम ऑलरेडी कर चुके हैं कंस्ट्रक्शन के हवाले से. और आज ही मेरी एक और प्रॉस्पर पाकिस्तान से बात हुई है, वो मुझे सारी इंफॉर्मेशन भेज रहे हैं, उनको ट्रांजैक्शन करनी है, मावा को ट्रांजैक्शन कर, ये इस भी बिफोर 31st इंशाल्लाह हम $50,000 to $60,000 ट्रांसफर कर देंगे ताकि उसको कवर किया जा सके. यानी जो फंड हमारे पास अवेलेबल है वो हम ट्रांसफर कर देंगे, और आगे की बात आगे की तक चलती रहेगी इंशाल्लाह.
और भाई थोड़ा सा क्योंकि लॉजिस्टिकली बड़ा काम होता है, एक घर का वो होना तो रहेगा जरूर इसमें. हमारी तरफ से डिले नहीं है, लेकिन ग्राउंड पे रियलिटीज की वजह से देयर प्रोबब्ली वुड बी 1 से 4-5 हफ्ते का लैग रहेगा, क्योंकि फंड्स का कलेक्शन की स्पीड जो है वो अनप्रेडिक्टेबल होती है. तो कमिटमेंट जो है वो टाइम करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल हो जाता है. और साथ में ये भी है कि एक बार पैसे आ जाएं तो फिर जो सेकंड क्रिटिकल स्टेप होता है कि शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग का, और उसका वो स्टार्ट होता है, तो थोड़ा सा वक्त जो है वो जो ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल इनएफिशिएंसी है उसमें जाता जरूर है, और देयर इज नो वे अराउंड इट.
Manzoor bhai, there are like some questions coming on the Slido, so just want to let everybody know that if you want to ask any question anonymously, you can go to the slido.com and put that number 104-1554. We got some questions. So there's one question that that was like, do you support Shaheed families too? Raees.
Okay, actually for Shaheed Foundation there's a different scenario right now.
I think Shaheed families,
Shaheed families, victim families, if their house get damaged, yes, we will help them out. These are not excluded.
And there's another question, where are your funds generally allocated? So I think it's like mostly education related, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think
our main focus is education. In the current year, we use 210,000 only for education, and that is the number under the head of education. But some of the fund from the Sahme Sadat and family support also goes to the education. So our main focus is education, but by the emergency, we are working on these aspects also.
so. Just to add to what Akif and Raees bhai said, so the allocation can be looked at from two different perspectives, right? One, how we spend, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that the allocation is actually driven by the donors. So if the donors decide that that more money goes towards education, then more money goes towards education. We actually tabulate the funds in under different heads that people donate under. So you can, as I mentioned earlier, you could possibly donate under like supporting families of Shohada, or higher education for Sadat only, or higher education for in general, or like there are 5 more heads. So we keep a tab of how much money is collected in under each so to speak head, and then that money is allocated with a little bit of a time lag, which is still not that much. Like as I said, 1 to 4 weeks, 5 weeks, depending upon like what the situation is. Some cases we have like forecasts available for what we need. In some cases, the numbers are added to existing demand based on identified candidates or people who request for funds, and then money is spent there. Sometimes, once in a while, some of the money would be carried forward to the next year because we didn't have anybody who was eligible for that particular head. But next year, when we do, the money gets allocated there.
Okay. Yeah, I can second that. For last few years, if I contributed, I send in a message to Raees bhai that this check, this amount is for that purpose, for same as Sadat or same as this, that. So that's very easy process. Thank you for elaborating that. So if you want to contribute for some particular purpose, you can send that and then message the Raees bhai that this amount is for this purpose. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I want to make it clear that all the donors have the right to select the head, but they can recommend some recipient also, but they cannot identify that I'm going to send this money for that individual. That we cannot do it.
Okay. So yeah, and there's like more questions on the slide also. I'm seeing so many questions right now. So one of the questions, there's like 5, 6 other questions. So one of the question is, what is the time frame for construction that you're thinking?
Yeah, for the construction, it depends on the area. In Balochistan, when we start the construction of houses, that will be done maybe 3 or 4 weeks. But for in Balochistan, but for like interiors in Khairpur, it takes longer because it works for the bricks and concrete or all those things. So it depends on the area, but usually 4 to 6 weeks. Some area take the 6 or 7 weeks, and some area within the 4-week house will be done.
Okay. There another question. Please name organizations you are collaborating in the US and Canada. I think I put that organization name in the presentation. But Raees uncle, do you wanna?
Yeah, actually, we have the relationship of all the organizations, but in USA, the Prosper International based in California. So we are on the same page. So they are working on that area. So we are selecting the different area. In the same way, the Hope International in Canada, we are on the same page. We have so many meetings together, and we learn from them and they learn from us. We are working and we can discuss where we are working, what the recipients are, who are the recipients, and what we are doing. So these 3 organizations are working closely here.
Okay. And yeah, I just want to add that we already had an international fundraiser with with organizations Canada and UK that was happening in collaboration with them. There are some questions relating to, can you share something you were mentioning about Shaheed Foundation? I think we already sent an email about what our views or whatever response to their thing. So, but Raees uncle, do you want to say something, or
No,
we already?
actually that is the big thing. If you want to discuss, please give me a call and we will discuss separately, because we are not working with Shaheed Foundation anymore.
Okay, but we just want to clarify that we are supporting victims of terrorism, Shaheed's families through different means, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but not with Shaheed Foundation. So another question: how much does it cost?
You can take if somebody have the question, please note my number 609-598-0942, and you can give me a call and we can discuss on this topic separately.
Sounds good. And another question: how much does it cost to build one house? So I think we already presented that in the presentation. There are like different regions; it costs different. But Raees uncle, do you want to add something?
Yeah, actually, the different, as Akif said, but the average, if it is $1,500 or less than $1,500.
So the range would be from between 400.
No, the range starts from 1,450 to almost $2,000. So, but the average is around 1,500 or less than $1,500.
Okay, cool. Another question: does we start reconstruction of houses? I think we. I mean, I know we did, right?
Yes,
we reconstructed some houses, and they are still in process, and we are spending money. Raees uncle, do you want to add anything?
Actually, we already started construction in Sindh and Balochistan, and we already sanctioned the money. We told them this amount is allocated, and they started the construction. And we also started construction in KPK, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And South Punjab, we are going to start. We already talked to the local organization. We say, here is the money, you can start, and we will transfer the money, maybe this week or the next week. And yes.
Just to remind everyone, we are down to the last 5 minutes. We will leave the floor open for questions for another 3 minutes, and then to wrap up the meeting in time. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to come forward and post your questions either there or directly ask them here.
I just wanted to better understand, with the tremendous need, how do you decide how to allocate the funds, of the deserving many victims?
What do you mean by victims?
I think
for example, of the flood. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, actually, in our presentation, Akif showed the area. Our local organization, Muhammad Ali Welfare Association, Iftar Trust, Prosper Pakistan, they already surveyed the different areas, and they provided us, that is the location, and these are houses from our community in that area, and they provide every data. We are here, we are not there, so we have to believe on them, and they provide all the surveys data, that what is the nature of the houses, how much it costs, and everything is there. And it was in the presentation here. If you come late, or we can discuss later on, and you can give me a call and I will discuss everything again.
And we have like, just want to add, we have like, so I'm pretty new with the Kauser board, and so we discuss all these things like strict measures where we monitor or review our collaborative organization strategies, and we are putting some checks and balance on them, that they should provide us 3 codes, all of these other requirements that make sure that our money is going to the people on ground, like efficiently, effectively, and it being utilized for that purposes.
And I think I had covered this in the beginning as well, that the whole reason why Al-Kauser is so efficient is because we have local presence in form of collaborative organizations, organizations that we have MOUs with, people who have earned trust over time or are generally considered trustworthy. Now, this does keep changing based on whatever feedback that we get. And we, as Akif mentioned, are instituting processes in place to keep everything under audit and open in a manner which is transparent enough to be consistent with how Al Kauser has operated over the last like 12, 13 years of existence.
And
So,
sorry for that. Now I have a question. Who is stepping up to become the volunteer of Al Kauser and take the responsibility of their town, state, or the area?
Please, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Like I'm sure like a little bit of time can be spared to bring this issue back to forefront in the local mosques and imam bargahs and wherever you have a reach in, even if it's just a neighbor. Like people, we do humbly request you to step forward.
So
Assalam.
I have the request that this presentation, is it possible that you can upload it on your website? So we can use it as a, the staging for the people we know, and just send them this presentation and ask them for, supporting the cause. Akif bhai, Raees bhai.
Yes.
Yeah,
we will make it a little short and then upload on the website. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Or I can email it to you also.
Yeah, please do that.
And we will inshallah will load this meeting. We already recorded, and we will probably try to make small clips in YouTube. So I think you can share that to LinkedIn.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't have any more questions on Slido, so I think.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
There is a question.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question regarding what I believe Raees just said. So how exactly are you looking for a volunteer to contribute? Can you define what that means? I'm living here in the US. It's very difficult for me to commit to sponsoring an area in Pakistan.
Oh, actually,
how can I help living here?
Sister, just to clarify, the volunteers for helping are expected.
Manzoor bhai, aapki awaaz kam aa rahi hai?
Let me explain it to you. So, sister, what Raees is asking for is that Al Kauser is a well-known organization in tri-state area in New Jersey, New York, and Maryland and this area. But in other states, we are kind of unknown, and we need people who can support us. Who can publicize this organization, provide the details about the services that we are providing here, how we are serving the community, and maybe have more donors. The only way we can do is that if we have a footprint in other states, and that's where we are looking for a few volunteers from different states who can help us out. So introduce this organization to the larger audience there, and have Al Kauser serve that community also in terms of taking their donations and providing that to the needy and deserving people in Pakistan and different places. So if you want to volunteer, please let us know your name and your contact number, and we will try to give you as much information as possible that Al Kauser is serving for last 15 years almost, and you can then use it and publicize in your state and in your community.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that clarification.
Nasir bhai
as a Nasir bhai is one of the founder member of Al Kauser.
MashaAllah. Raees bhai, we already know that I've already offered my services for Georgia, so obviously you can count me in.
Yeah, I already told you, Abbas bhai and other people in different states already step forward, and you are the Al Kauser.
Yeah, I think the one of the good thing about this organization is that our expenses are minimal, because most of the expenses which we bear in terms of running this organization is through our pockets, not through the donations that you give us. So it's 100% going to the cause that you're giving us. The other thing is that it's a sense of ownership that, it's not just owned by a few people. It is your organization. It is your help that is needed, and it is your help that has to go to the needy people. And that's where we are looking for that, people will come forward and help us out. Imagine we started at $500 in 2007, and alhamdulillah, we are reaching almost $1 million. It's not possible without your help, without community's help, and without our complete dedication to this organization. And thanks to everybody here, those who participated, those who have been working for the organization day and night, and they are helping just for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet Muhammad and his family, and they are actually serving them. And that's the spirit that we're looking for. It is not an organization where we have positions or some kind of status. No, it is more service oriented. What I can do for the community. That's the idea. And that's where we are focusing on. Our main focus is on education, but here and there, every year we get into some kind of projects. So for example, we had a medical project, wheelchairs were sent to Pakistan. Then we had COVID, we helped in COVID, and now we have, unfortunately, flooding. In Pakistan, 1/3 of the country was flooded. So of course, our help is needed, and that's where we are coming forward and helping. And that's where we need your help. That appraise the community that what's going on. It's been months that the flood came. What is happening now there, and how we can help? It's a long-term help. It needs support from the community. It has also the feature of giving your Sahme Imam and from both the great Ayatullahs. So we have all of that in place, and we have the organizations on ground in Pakistan who are getting out these things. It's not like we are doing any duplication or giving it to the non-deserving people. Our organizations are very thorough, and they give us the whole roadmap of how we can help them. We are just facilitating them also, and also helping all of us, the community. That's why I think this organization is growing, and your help is always needed.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That provides me with a lot of clarity after today's meeting. I wanted to ask, so with your purpose being education, what exactly are you doing currently in that area? I understand, I heard a lot about the flooding. Of course, that's a huge need. But for instance, is it possible to sponsor a student
Yes.
For their higher education?
Exactly. We have
give me a second. Can you give me a minute? So I'm here for this answer. Yes. Actually, just I said in the presentation, Akif, I said we are supporting 1,070 students in Pakistan and almost 200 or 300 students in India also. And the fees of the different institutions in India and Pakistan and within the Pakistan, the fees structure is different. So for the supporting a particular student is a difficult task. So we say that.
Let me explain it this way, that we have a request that is coming from various places, and these students are deserving students. They are meritorious students, and they have made into professional courses, but their parents cannot afford the fee. And that's where we come in, and we try to help them out. So there is a sponsorship for, let's say, a medical student who is in Pakistan, a medical college, and he can get into a medical college, he can pay the fee and get his education. We ask people like you and me and others here if they can sponsor, and yearly sponsorship can be taken. for that student or a similar student, and based on their need and their requirement, we send the money directly to the school where they are going, and that way the fees is paid and they can continue with their education. So there are more than 1,000 students that we are supporting right now.
MashaAllah. Thank you.
Any other questions?
About 8 minutes
Continue, Nasir bhai.
over time. So if anybody has any questions, please go forward.
I don't have a question. I just have a comment. I was thinking that we'll be doing some fundraising today. Are we doing that right now or not?
Yeah, somebody planned something. We are here.
Are you seeing the screen, my friend, my brother?
We still have the screen. We'll
So one quick comment, Raees bhai, you can elaborate also on the accountability part, like the transparency part. Here you mentioned that you vet everything through OFS, that's government State Department side. But for the Pakistan, as I know, as we discuss it, because of the FATF issue, all the organization that's if the Al-Kauser is funding has to document each and every instant and all the money trail end to end, so to avoid any kind of issue with the legal or the international institutions basically. So can you highlight that?
That I want to say that first of thing, on the part of US, we do the OFAC list, we follow all the things. And in Pakistan, there is the new regulation started maybe 2 years ago in FTFA. Now, we cannot send the money to those organizations who are not registered and who don't have the permission from the government to get the foreign remittance. So that's why we have only 3 or 4 organizations: IFTA Welfare Trust in Karachi, Hussaini Foundation in Karachi, Prosper Pakistan in Islamabad, Muhammad Ali Welfare Association in Rawalpindi, Zainabia Trust in Karachi. These are, and there are some other organizations. These are registered organizations from the government of Pakistan. They have the audit reports and they have the permission for the foreign remittance. And that's why we have to send the money only on those organizations. People are requesting and people are asking, can you send the money to them? And there is no cash transaction. Al-Kauser do not allow our collaborative organization for the cash transaction. We always, there are so many ways in Pakistan, the easy paisa fund, or if the recipient, for example, in the remote area, though they don't have the account, they don't have the bank account. So there is another way through the phone is a easy paisa account. Our collaborative organization transfer if they need not for the institution, for the family support. The transaction is clear and the paper trail is already there. And what we are doing right now, we are trying to send the money directly to the institution. For example, Karachi University, NED University, Federal Urdu University, Sir Syed University, Dawood College of Engineering. We are sending money directly to those institutions. And right now, we are working with few other universities. Allama Iqbal Medical College in Lahore, Azad Kashmir University, and there is Agriculture University in Rawalpindi, and Baluchistan University has just opened their campus in Nasirabad. So we are working with those institutions for the direct transfer.
So in other words, what we're doing is that we are following the laws in United States, transfer the money. United States law says that you cannot give a single dollar to any person somehow associated to terrorism. So we vet out the people if we have to send. And we vet out the organizations, and the organizations, trustees and all those people, the position holders, different positions that they hold in the organization, we vet them out here. And likewise, the same process is adopted in Pakistan or in other countries where foreign funding or foreign transfer is not allowed unless the organization has the permission from the government and it is vetted out by the government. Once that money goes to that organization, it's not like they are free to disburse. They have to keep record of the people whom they are giving, including their identity, their address, and all those information they have to keep for a certain period of time. So it's all following the laws of the land here and as well as in foreign land.
And at the end of the year, we get the report. We say it end user report. So all the collaborative organization, whatever country, they provide us the details of the fund used, the name of the individual, their government issue identity card number, in India Aadhaar card number, in Pakistan CNIC number, and their address. They provide all the information of those individuals who are getting the benefit from our funds. So Nasir bhai, thank you, inshallah.
Thank you very much, everyone who joined us today. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first of all, and the Prophet and his holy family. By their blessing, we are helping everybody, and we are asking them for their blessing in give us tawfiq to help our community. We are thankful for all the participants and also all the people who have helped these organizations from the beginning until now, even those people who have presented today, as well as the reciters, Moulana, and everyone. And I appreciate your time, hoping that, inshallah, the target that we have, we will inshallah meet that by your support. We will inshallah have more volunteers and more supporters of this organization in different states. Anybody who joined from different state, from Virginia, from Maryland, from out of state, anywhere, we are thankful for their participation and hope that we will continue on this path and help the community.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We appreciate your time and we appreciate your help.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.